Hey everybody, it's Melanie, and today I'm going to share with you something creepy that happened to me this past weekend on Saturday. So if you don't like creepy, and you don't like creepy dolls, this may not be the video for you. I have been looking for a doll for a project that I want to do, and so Michael and I went to some antique shops, and we crossed the border from north into South Carolina, and we started in Saluda, and then we went to a few antique shops there and didn't really find anything, so we drove back along, I don't even know what road it was. We weren't on the interstate though, but we drove through Tryon, and Tryon is partly in South Carolina and partly in North Carolina, and they have a lot of antique shops along the road, and so we were just kind of stopping at whatever we came to along the way, and we're like, oh, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. So we stopped at one place, and it was a huge antique mall, and it had been something else at some point, I don't know, but like a Save More or a Save a Lot had been on one end, and the antique mall had just taken up the entire thing. Like, it was no longer a Save a Lot. They had taken down the sign and the whole thing. It was really, really big. And if I find the name, I'll give it to you. So we stopped there, and it's one of those places where dealers come in and then they pay rent for a space or a booth. And then the people who own the actual store building are the ones who do the selling, and then they write down the seller's information. And then I don't know how the money works out, but everybody gets paid, I'm sure. I found not one doll, but two creepy dolls. And I'm going to show them to you. So the first one was labeled as Amish doll. Now, I don't think she's a doll made by the Amish, because most Amish, well, all Amish dolls that I've seen made by the Amish are kind of the rag doll type, and they don't have a face. She has a porcelain face and porcelain hands. Her body is stuffed, but she very much does have a face. So I'm going to introduce you to the first one. You can see she's got kind of a red and green, a little bit of yellow in here, plaid dress on with a white apron and a white bonnet. Her hair is really, really dark brown. I don't know if you can tell in this light. It almost looks black. It's really coarse. It's not soft at all. She does need a little bit of cleaning. She's got a little brown black there. Don't want to touch it too much. I don't want the oils on my hands to ruin it. But don't adjust your camera, your computer screen colors. Her skin is actually gray. And that's what I thought was so creepy, was her skin and her eyes. Her eyes are just kind of, they're dark brown, and they're just kind of flat. Like, I tend to anthropomorphize things, giving them emotions, or be like, oh, you know, that doll is happy or whatever, or, you know, give things, inanimate objects, emotions or faces or feelings, that kind of thing. But I kind of feel nothing from her, which is so weird to me. It's almost like an overwhelming nothingness. I was standing outside of the booth, and I looked into the booth, and there were, I don't know, 5 or 6 dolls standing there, and I didn't even notice her at first, and she was kind of front and center, which is weird, and I didn't really notice her, and when I did notice her and I focused in on her, I'm like, whoa, she's kind of creepy. And I looked at Michael, and I said, look over there, and I pointed to the dolls, and he's like, what? And I said, look at the one in front in the white bonnet. And he basically just took a step back, and he's like, no, she's creepy. And I said, that's the doll I want. Do you think I should get her? And he's like, yeah, that's the one. So tell me, what do you think of her? Do you think she could be haunted? possibly. I don't know. The skin color and the eyes, that's what gets me. Do you sense any emotion? I don't know if you can through a computer screen, but tell me what you think of her down below. The second doll that I bought is this tiny little doll here. And her body is plastic. It is not porcelain. She's kind of got this pinky, kind of almost a grayish pinky. I think it's probably dirty, needs to be washed. I don't know how I'm gonna do that though, because it's attached to her body in the back with something. So I'm not sure if I can take it off to get it out. You can see, I hope it'll focus, her eyes are actually green. And she got this magnificent bow on her head. Now, y'all know I'm not one to go for pink, so why did I choose the doll that's dressed in pink? She was laying kind of like this in what looked like an old wooden cradle, and there were 3 or 4 other dolls. And I don't know if you can see, like, her eyes are closed, right? And I was wondering, oh, do her eyes open? So I picked her up, and her eyes kind of halfway opened, and I could see the white where her eyes would be if they'd opened all the way. Like, you know, you have white around the color in your eyes. And I kind of moved her back and forth a little bit to see if I could get them to open all the way, and they wouldn't. So I'm like, well, they're just stuck. So I even tried to open it a little bit with my finger, very gently. You know, she's in an antique store, I don't want to break anything. And they just wouldn't open. All I could see was that little slit of white where they were trying to open. And I looked around to find Michael, and he was a couple booths over. And I looked back down, and her eyes were completely open, and she was staring at me. And if you can tell, the green of her eyes goes all the way from the top to the bottom. So I don't know what that white slit was when they were halfway open, which kind of freaks me out a little bit. Makes me wonder if maybe she's haunted. I don't know. But yeah, she was staring right at me, eyes wide open. They have not been stuck since. So it wasn't just a fluke thing that happened that, you know, they just, oh, it opened once, maybe I moved her the right way. No. They open every time. So I'm going to have to do some research on how to clean. She has also got a little smudge on her face here. I don't know if you can see. Her arms are movable. Her legs are not. Did y'all hear that? Either the wind is blowing really hard again, or somebody just thumped into the window. I hope you all heard that. Creepy, creepy. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do some research, see if I can get them a little bit cleaned up, spruced up, maybe deal with their hair a little bit. Hers is kind of wavy curly, but it's so short. It's almost matted down a little bit. It's much, much softer than the other doll though. So what do you think about this doll? Do you think she could be haunted? Which one of these dolls gives you the creeps more? The gray Amish doll or the pink baby doll? I don't know if we call her a baby doll. She's dressed up for an evening out on the town. Look at that detailing on her dress. She's all spruced up and ready to go. So, yeah, she creeped me out because of her skin color. Because nobody has gray skin. Nobody. I don't care how pale you are. And she freaked me out because she just started staring at me for no reason whatsoever. She's still staring at me. Go stare at them for a while. It's amazing how my camera is focusing on all three faces. We all have a box, a square. So I hope you are seeing the detail in all of these dolls. So leave me a comment down below. What do you think? Are they haunted? Are both of them haunted? Is one of them haunted? Do you have any experiences with haunted dolls? If you'd like me to tell your story, please write me a message at ShiveringShimmy@gmail.com. Remember, if you like this video, to hit like and subscribe. I should have some more paranormal story times coming at you soon. I don't think I've told the story of what happened in this apartment. I'll have to double check and make sure, because I know I've told some of my old house, and I know I've told my college story. So I'm gonna have to double check and make sure, and if not, I'll hit you up with that. You can also hit the notification bell button for notifications, otherwise you don't know when I upload. Also remember to find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Snapchat, and Facebook, facebook.com/ShiveringShimmy. I'll link all that stuff below so that you know how to spell it correctly, and we're gonna see what happens. I'll try to update you as I get the dolls cleaned. If anything spooky happens, I'll try to update you then as well. And I think that's it for us. We're gonna say bye. Bye.